Hey, my bad.
You good?
Yeah. So it was really busy yesterday.
Forget how time zones work. It's okay. I think we can make up for it. 2-gamer.
Man, yeah, but that news.
I ever mentioned our intro music is just the best. It's the best. All right, hopefully you're good because I haven't set up any scenes. I just went live.
I'm sure I am.
Yeah, looks good. Josh, you ever drink or eat green stuff? But like, I don't know. So I'll see if this actually green screen might hide this. You can kind of make out what it is. It's a bottle of green goodness, and I don't know why, man. It just feels like when you put green
What is
stuff.
that, smoothie?
Yeah, basically it's like apples and all that. I don't know. Just trying to get a little energy into the mix, but it's just my mind is like, oh, that's gonna be terrible. That looks awful. That looks like sewage. It's actually pretty good. Very sweet. Got some apples. Apples. How do you like them apples? Hey, man, Paul George.
Gosh.
Whew, we're still doing that. I didn't know we were.
Exactly. I was busy this morning, and I just saw the news like flash across.
I pop positive for COVID, man. It's been a while since that's impacted something, right? And just in the streets in general for sports, the Mets got hit with it too. Brandon Nimmo, I think I saw Mark Hanna as well. So, just when you think we're in the clear, it rears its ugly head, and what an unfortunate timing for the Clippers to get their best player pretty much plucked from the eligibility. And you just think about how this playoffs could look a lot different if teams were fully healthy, right? Steph Curry, Luka Doncic, now Paul George, Ben Simmons, Zion. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of big names that would really, really make this postseason that much more incredible. But it's what it is, man. We got to deal with the punches. We got to play with the same deck of cards as everybody else. But man, sucks for the Clippers. Last I looked, though, Clippers still had a slight home favorite advantage. So we'll see if that sticks around long enough, strong enough to make some decisions here. But hopefully, you guys were able to get on some early plays for this slate. There's basketball tomorrow. Isn't there 4 games tomorrow? 3 games? 4 games? 3? I don't know. And then 4. Yeah, and then 2 today. So plenty of basketball. And then I didn't have time to talk with you about it, but my obligations in the morning just got rearranged. So I could potentially have something on a Saturday instead of doing the Friday night stuff. But we'll talk about that off the air. We'll see what the post is in chat, what you guys are thinking. But shout out to the live chat. Hey, yo, D. Underrated World, Danny Peace, Sean Drake said, sweated out $200 on Wednesday. Let's go. What up, Michael Dorsey? Hope you guys are doing all right. Happy Good Friday. What up, Skimmer? Brian Castillo, Mr. B, Parker Douglas. Let's start. And Eric's prop shot in the chat, man. I hope you guys are doing all right. I hope you guys are ready to make some money here. Let's dive into the mix a little bit. First of all, PrizePicks does have a 0.5 point prop for Joel Embiid, and I think I'm going to slight lean the over. My projections kind of have him over.
I wasted mine with John Means.
What? So you're not the only one that did that, though. Like, why would you guys sweat 3 days of a bet? I just didn't understand, whatever.
I don't know. I mean, why leave it there sitting, It's impatient.
Why not? I mean, it's not going anywhere. Anyway, But anyway, yeah. So there's a couple props on the board now. There's plenty for tomorrow as well, but a lot for today that we'll be getting into it. I actually read a quote earlier. I don't know if you've come across it. Joel Embiid was talking about how the Raptors have guarded him, where they like triple team him essentially anytime he touches the ball. So he's fully aware of it, and the quote was, he's not going into this game with the mindset of scoring 40 points. He knows sometimes he's going to have to pass the ball. So I know you were on James Harden in your early look for some assists. This might actually increase ball handling for him as well. So if that holds up, but let's go game by game here.
Needs assists too, right?
Yeah. Let's go game by game here. I do want to bring up ODDSJAM. ODDSJAM, our presenting sponsor. Shout out to them. If you guys are not on ODDSJAM, you should be. There's a link in the description below. Some really, really good tools to be companion pieces to your prop hunting and betting. Really, if you're just betting straight up, great companion piece for all that. I like to look at the just the lines for every particular prop bet that we'll be talking about to kind of see if there's some value or some implied value, if we're getting a better price on PrizePicks or if we're not, stuff like that. And we'll kind of cross-reference a couple plays as we go throughout the stream. But if you guys think this would be useful to you, check out the link in the description below. They have some free stuff, including this. They also have some premium stuff that would help you along your way as you grow as a bettor. They also have bet trackers, betting calculators, stuff like that. So it's really, really, really good to put in your back pocket. Let's talk about the first game tonight. It's the Atlanta Hawks at the Cleveland Cavaliers. We have a 223 total, 1.5 point spread in favor of the visiting Hawks. On the Cavs side, Jared Allen looks like he's going to give it a go. And now we have at least a one-game sample size of what the Cavs would do in a playoff game, and it looks like what it is that they would do is play Rajon Rondo, so we get to play with that minute rotation that we now have a lean on. However, they did insert Jared Allen to the mix. That would also, if it's me, I want more Kevin Love than Rondo, but we'll see. And then Bogdanovich has a Q tag on him. I'll get the 411 on him to see what the actual status is. Looks like he's Q on the injury report too. He is left ankle sprain. It's gonna be a GTD, but it's gonna be hard pressed to assume that anyone that could play won't play in a winner take all type of game here. So, what are we dealing with? What stands out here? Cavs getting Jared Allen might be more important than we give it credit for. We talked about how that defense just kind of imploded on itself once they lost Rubio, once they lost Jared Allen, guys like that, and they turned into like a bottom 10 defense, and maybe Allen can bolster that a little bit, but I'm also not quite sure what to project for minutes on the Cavs because 2 steps forward, 3 steps backwards in that first game. They didn't have Jared Allen, right? But they did they did have Rondo, and they decided that Rondo needed to be used against the Brooklyn Nets, and maybe they paid for it. Rondo saw 26 minutes of court time closed out for them. Do you expect more Rondo here, or is Bickerstaff going to learn?
I mean, he's a good coach, so I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt, and I'm gonna say that he might have learned his lesson a little bit. And saw that, Rondo, he really was holding the team back in that second half with his missed shots and taking more threes than he should have been taking. But I get it. He's a vet, and you want the vet experience out there, so who knows? But with Jared Allen in the back of the mix, they don't have to, try to throw in some crazy different rotations in there. So probably I'm assuming less minutes than what he played. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I was thinking that too, just because you can. I don't know. Ultimately, what I'm thinking is Kevin Love needs to not lose out on minutes. I think he's really, really good when he's on the court. He played 30 minutes that last game. Is he going to take a 5-minute, 6-minute, 8-minute reduction in playing time just because Jared Allen is back? Possibly. Do they go to Kevin Love and Allen over Mobley, the rookie, right? The rookie makes less mistake. Can they allow the front court to play more aggressive defensively, right? You could spare a foul more so now with Kevin Love and Jared Allen versus what you could last game. So something to think about. I still like the thought of Kevin Love in this spot because the Hawks are favorited. And if the Cavs go down, you're going to need some scorers out there. I think Kevin Love is the guy I want out there. And then just Jared Allen hasn't played a lot, in a long time. Yeah. So he's liable to play 20 minutes and just.
I would say, who do you think wins?
Who? So for me, it comes down to rotation to me, man. I think if I don't know, if Bogdan's out, that's a big hit. Right, that could be 20, 30 points.
Oh, yeah.
That's
but all right, man. That guy just keeps showing up when he needs to. That last game against the Hornets, he was killing them.
Who do you think wins?
2-point spread?
Yeah,
I mean, my mind is telling me the Hawks win,
but my body,
but my heart. My desire wants the Cavs to win. I don't know. I just like the Cavs this year. I think I like Bickerstaff. I think like I said, I think he's a good coach. He's just gritty. He wants his team to play with a lot of hustle and heart. And I feel like they've done that all season long, exceeded expectations. That's kind of where I'm going. I just think, the experience of the Hawks, Clint Capella having so much playoff experience, Trey having experience. I just think that overrides the youth and inexperience.
I mean, playoff Rondo, Kevin Love, world champion Kevin Love.
If they get the minutes, I mean, right? We don't know. I mean, Kevin Love deserves. I'm with you. He deserves way more minutes than he's.
No, I mean, at 29 is fine. If you're gonna get 29 minutes, I think that's fine. I was just wondering what the Jared Allen trickle effect would be for that. So. All right. Let's talk about some props here. Let's start with the Hawks side. With this being a do or die, winner take all, you got to imagine Trae Young's going to play all of the minutes. And in that first game for the Hawks against the Hornets, and remember that game did get a little lopsided, but Trae Young was on pace to playing probably up to 40 minutes here. So if you expect this game to stay competitive, you could probably get 40 minutes of Trae Young as well. And he's one of those guys that was pushing that almost on average at the end of the regular season anyway. So on 40 minutes, we got hooked on the assist for Trae Young last time at 11.5. It's down to 11. This could be a slower pace matchup than the Hornets was. Do you still like something here for Trae Young because you feel like he's the general? He's going to be part of everything. Assists was kind of the number that I think I wanted to tinker with, and then maybe fantasy score. I have him for 55 fantasy points. They have him at 49. It's going to be one of those premium prices. Maybe we find better value elsewhere, especially on a team without Paul George. But anything on Trae Young you don't mind sweating tonight?
We kind of predicted what was going to happen with him last game. He got cold from 3, and that's been happening to him a lot this season. And I feel like the way this team is built right now, like they don't need to rely on him to be the go out there, Trey, and carry the team and score the points for us. Like they're pretty well built in terms of like teamwork and scoring. There's multiple guys can go get their own bucket. But it's Trey. I mean, he could go off at any time. But I mean, it's just which game is it going to be? It just doesn't seem like it's happening as often as it used to in the past with him. So it makes me nervous. I mean, for choosing like one of his point props or fantasy point props.
Yeah. All right. Clint Capella, he showed up and showed out that last game. Got all the boards. He dropped a 50 spot. Now that was in a much more desirable matchup, a game pace that was way faster than this game projects to be. However, they didn't move Capella's full game fantasy score at all. Still at 35. I think this is a pretty competitive line for Clint Capella if you expect him to get deeper run. With that said, maybe we add a layer of respect to this Cavs front court with Jared Allen back in the mix here. But I still think this is pretty low for a do or die game that they're implying it for 13.5 rebounds. I guess it's the points that you were worried about. But I do like the thought of Clint Capella. But again, I don't feel like we're getting a massive discount. I am for 37 fantasy points. That's right in line with their 35 fantasy point projection. So, would you say that it feels like the Hawks are priced appropriately through and through?
I do. But the Capella's 35. I mean, that's what it was last time, and we saw what he did.
Yeah, but
Um,
that's what I'm saying. There's a difference between the Hornets and the Jared
yeah,
Allen
yeah,
Cavs,
yeah.
though.
Well, I mean, so Allen's playing, but he still might not be ready. Like that hand could cause some hesitation for him going up. Bickerstaff said like for him going up to get rebounds, blocks, hitting the rim, like it's gonna cause some hesitation on his side. So especially on defense, who knows?
All right, Gallinari has a 1.5 assist prop. 2 passes end up in the right hands. What do you think?
Oh, you know how I feel about this random stuff, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, go for it.
go
Roll the
for
dice.
it. All right,
I mean, yeah, what did he get? What did he finish with? 2 assists last game?
exactly.
And Herder had some random assists in there that it's like, okay. I mean, so these guys, like, they will pass it back and forth to each other, especially when Trey's on the bench or Trey's just, like, passes it off. So you're just hoping, yeah, randomness, ball goes around, hot potato.
Hot potato, potato. All right, let's go over to the Cavs side. The Cavs, while I do think that the Hawks are priced correctly, the Cavs are priced to where I don't know if it's correct or not because I don't know about this minute rotation. I don't know if Karis LeVert is going to play 40 minutes, if Rajon Rondo needs to play 30, what Jared Allen does to that front court. Isaac Okoro just going to get tossed to the side. You know what I mean? So I guess you kind of had to game script a few different minute rotations. Ultimately, if Darius Garland's going to play 40 minutes, I would like his assist prop. We were on it last game, but then Rajon Rondo was kind of just like a monkey wrench into the plans, and of course he's a facilitator, and he was vulturing some of the ball handling, so it took away from Garland's upside, especially from an assist standpoint. Rondo had 9 assists in that game.
And they have a Rondo prop now. Assist prop.
I mean, again, I mean, chat, you guys chime in. You expect Rondo to run back that those minutes, and I'll say this, as much hate, not hate, but as much like as we meme Rondo getting minutes that game, plus minus is largely irrelevant. But when you look at how the Cavs got burned, Rondo was one of a couple of players with a positive plus minus. So if this is the information coaching staffs look at to see what units were gelling. Kevin Love was a +10, Rondo was a +2, LeVert was a +2. On paper, there's not a reason to give him less minutes, so maybe Rondo props would be something that Bickerstaff goes back to. Remember, they did trade mid-season for him. They have him at 5.5 assists. Yeah. Right? I mean, we're dealing with the unknown here, but we do know historically playoffs. Coaches tend to trust their vets a little bit more to manage the emotions, manage the pressure. And if you think Rondo has another shot at those type of minutes, the 30 minutes, or 26 minutes, that's certainly a line that is beatable. And I think it correlates somewhat well if you look at his minutes with Kevin Love. If you wanted to maybe like Kevin Love points and Rondo assist, a lot of their run together coincided with each other. So maybe you run that as a correlated 2-piece or something like that, right?
No, I like that. It's a good idea. But what about his PRA? Because he traditionally in the past he will get some boards, and just in case you can't decide on his scoring or his assists, you can just get it all.
Yeah, he is a do-it-all kind of guy.
Yeah, 13.5. I mean, that's if he plays 25 plus minutes again, that's doable.
All right, so let's go look at PRA on ODDSJAM and just kind of see where the juice is at, because I do like that number for him. It seems low enough, is what I'll say. Rondo. Control. You know what? We'll just control F Rondo. There's a lot of. So looks like 14.5 is kind of where the lines are at, where it is offered, and the under's got a little bit more juice, but it's not crazy. So 14.5 is where the world is at. 13.5 is where PrizePicks is at, and Gundacker is at 22 minutes. I might even be able to come up on that minute projection. But when I threw Rondo in there, I was getting 14.5 PRA. So early projections like the over, and that's probably on a minute projection that we can come up a little bit. So I like that call, Rondo PRA. All right, let's do that.
Yeah.
Let me make some space here in my daily notepad. I wrote notes to myself.
You old man who has a little notepad.
Hey, shut up, pencil boy. What do you mean? What do you mean? I knew an old man with a notepad, bro. You're the only person on the planet I know that actively buys boxes of pencils that isn't a teacher for like a, I don't know, inner city school with whatever. Anyway,
Pencil boy.
pencil boy. Gosh dang it. Anyway, Rajon Rondo, PRA.
Hey, you don't think Rondo was at the clubs last night, do you?
Do we think he was at the clubs last night?
Yeah.
Was his birthday?
No.
What?
I just remember in the past hearing about it.
Okay. I think a lot of NBA players probably go to the club.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how Paul George got COVID. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm in on the Rondo PRA. Let's do
And
it.
then we don't have Kevin Love props, but we can kind of say if and then with whatever the line would be. If it's less, if his rebounds less than 8, are you game?
For Kevin Love.
Yeah.
So I mean,
He'll drop it once it gets later in the day.
well, I mean, do you think Jared Allen is a problem for that?
Well, that's what I was asking. Yeah.
I think that's what is waiting on. We can see if there's anything open to the public right now
Yeah.
for Kevin Love. Nothing. So I think it is a matter of lines makers trying to figure out the Jared Allen effect. Oh, nothing. All right, cool. Ding, ding. So 8 seems aggressive, but I still think 25 plus minutes for Kevin Love needs to be part of the plan. Like it just needs to be. Those are guys that can get it done. So I don't know. Maybe the points with Rondo dishing it out to him, something to look at.
Oh, wait, Paul George got mono?
They made it seem like COVID.
Oh, so he was at the club, man.
Hey. Is that like confirmed though? Like, are we just?
I just
making
read
that
what
up?
J. Cole wrote in chat.
Oh, okay. Well, let me see. What did was? No, you literally tested positive for the Rona.
J. Cole, man, trolling me.
J. Cole, Jermaine, Cole, Jermaine Troll.
So wait, so we're gonna hold back on K-Love?
For the rebounds, I think he's gonna be. I think he has to see 25 minutes. Like I don't know how. If you're a coach, with Kevin Love, being as efficient as he was probably the best. Results wise, being plus 10, he was the best on the results from the last game. Obviously, plus minus, it's very noisy. But I can't see him getting diminished minutes here. I think 25. So in 25 minutes, I'd be probably looking for double-digit points, maybe 8 rebounds, but maybe a little less. Let's see what I have Kevin Love right now. I can look in the projections for Love.
Okay.
Kevin Love. I got him for almost 12 points, 7.25 rebounds. Now it's on a 21-minute projection. We might tighten that up. It might get to 25. If I get to 4 more minutes, I do probably exceed 8 rebounds in the projection. So we'll see. We'll see what the board drops.
Okay. And I think that last time his last point prop, I want to say it was 11.5.
Okay. So
yeah.
that's okay. I'll take that.
So watch out for those. And then Garland. So he's I get what you're saying. Playing alongside like Rondo and LeVert could hurt his assist, but I think also just him being so aggressive and taking so many shots is also hurting his assist rate too.
Mm-hmm.
Do we just want to go with his real point, or just throw a blanket in case he does end up passing more today and go with his fantasy? Since Jared Allen is back in the mix, that was his go-to buddy on the lob pass.
I think I throw a blanket over the fantasy points. I got him for 49.5 fantasy points, and they got him at 30 or 42. So I get like a 7-point gap there. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna throw
I mean, like he got so many assists from Jared in the past. So I assume his assists will go up a little bit from what it was last game.
That's fair. But it's just like if Rondo's out there, he's facilitating, so that's a problem.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've got Darius Garland over fantasy points, Rajon Rondo 13.5 PRA. Is there anything else we need to add to this? Karis LeVert, anything?
Man, they really need him. Like they need him to step up scoring, and he's just falling short. 50. I mean, his points has gone down by almost 3. It used to be around 18, then went down to 17.5. Now it's down to 15.5. People are really clicking the under on him because of how bad he's shooting. But I mean, with shooters, they gotta catch stride at some point. So I would say it's a mid-tier risk play, hoping that he catches fire, gets back on track.
All right. And his
fantasy points are live too, because he'll try to do it all, but it is pretty high at 32.
Okay. Anything that you want to do for first half? Clint Capella is the guy that comes to mind. We talked about how he was taxed last game. They put him at 20 fantasy points for the first half. Yeah. With the 35 game total, right? So they're charging. They're charging 5 points there. So probably not, I guess. But he did clear it for what it's worth. But again, the pace is way different here than it was against the Hornets, and the matchup a little bit tougher, perceptually, assuming that Jared Allen is a little bit more of a rock down there. So, Josh, we've talked about both sides. All I've got jotted down is Garland fantasy points, Rondo 13.5 PRA. Do you have something secret that I don't? I feel like we should have more than 2 props from the first game, but here we are.
Well, yeah. I mean, let's wait on Kevin Love. That would have been a big one for me, and then Jared Allen. If Jared Allen, let's see what his props look like. I think the house will have a hard time making lines for him because. Yeah. Like I said, Bickerstaff, he's been very secretive and not saying, his status. And all he said is, that he's been dealing with this hand problem and pain tolerance with it. So it's making him less hesitant to, like I said, rebound and block and go up for blocks. So if you want to roll the dice and say, okay, he can handle the pain and get through it, then maybe they do reduce his props somewhat today, and you can gain an edge on that with him. I guess the only other thing was one thing we didn't touch on is Gallows, just overall potential with his PRA or his fantasy. We saw him play a lot of extended run like we predicted, being the vet, and he was pretty productive. Maybe we could get on more of his props than we talked about.
Okay, that's fair. 30 minutes against Charlotte. Again, I think a lot of these starters might have left 4 or 5 minutes on the table because the game did blow out.
Yes.
So, Garland being as productive as he was, and let's see, he ended up
I was thinking Gallo's real points because he was taking so many shots, but...
for what it's worth, I don't think Gallo left too many minutes on the table. He played 29 minutes, and he played a lot in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. I expect him and Kevin Love to be very similar in the rotation and minutes today.
Okay. Maybe he missed a chunk here in the first quarter. But I also think if Bogdanovich is out, maybe there's a heightened need on him. I had him at 30 for 26. I feel like that's so light, but man, when Mobley and Allen were together earlier, it wasn't a super fruitful spot to pick on.
Right. But Gallo was taking a lot of outside shots.
23 fantasy points.
That's what I was thinking, his real points.
14.5?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Shot volume, 12, 14, double-digit shot attempts. 2 games against the Cavs this year, he averaged 14.5 points per game.
So that's how they picked their line?
That's how they picked the line.
Wow.
I want to feel better, but I'm not getting warm fuzzied on this one.
Okay, and then Herder, man, I can't pick that guy. He's annoying. I find him very annoying. I don't like him. I just don't like him.
Probably a good guy.
He's probably as a real person, he's probably awesome. He's probably cool, man.
God-fearing individual. Just waiting for Easter. He's making baskets with his girls right now, but he's annoying. He's friggin' annoying.
I don't like him as a basketball player. Okay, I don't like watching him. But yeah, do you have a read on him? Because I'm not gonna pick anything for him.
I had 25 fantasy points. If Bogdan ended up not playing, which I'm not expecting, then maybe we'd look at his real points a little bit more. But yeah, I do think it's a little bit volatile from where we're at right now. They have at 12.5 real points. Let's see, shot volume in that last game. Just the game flow here is so much different.
He said the God fear.
Do you not fear God? What? Okay. Why is that so funny? What?
He said, it's just the way you delivered about making the Easter basket.
Oh man, you're easy to entertain, bro. Don't get me. Yeah. So I've got him in the player prop projections right now for 12 points, and his prop is at 12.5. Cool. Yeah. No, I think they priced that game really tight. Really tight.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I guess the Gallo assist, man, it's such a low number. People are smashing it on Pinnacle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's move on to the Pelicans and the Clippers. I think this game will be more fun because I think the price, we don't know what the price should be or what it would be with that Paul George news. I would assume that Norman Powell has to be the guy that starts in lieu of Paul George just to be a little bit of a veteran presence that can score. And then it's all hands on deck. The Marcus Morrises, the Nick Batums, even though they're losing their best player, they still have some experience in this lineup to where I feel like they're still in it. And I've watched the spread drop, but right now they still have that home court lean here at -1 here. So maybe they can pull it off here. Should be a fun game to watch. 215 total. Looking at the board for PrizePicks, I guess we'll start with the Pelican side, and then we'll try and piece together the remnants of the Clippers. They have CJ McCollum, 25.5 real points, 5 assists, 2.5 threes, 1.5 blocks and steals. They got a couple fun props that are a little lighter sweats, and then 42 fantasy points on him. I have him at 43 fantasy points, so not a wide gap. Brandon Ingram listed at 39 fantasy points. I have him at 39 as well, right on the dot. But Jonas Valanciunas listed at 38 fantasy points again. Wasn't he 38 last game?
Yes, disrespect. And against the Clippers and Zubac? Come on, man.
And we did a lot of on-air research on.
Yeah, we did. We mined that hard.
What his minutes would be. We looked back at the Lakers game, which was a similar, both teams need to win. He got to 37 minutes in that game. And then against the Spurs, in a must-win game, Jonas Valanciunas got to 36.5 minutes. So 36.5 minutes, he's over a point per minute, without a doubt. I'm thinking J-Val over 38 is going to make the core.
Core. Yeah.
All right, cool. Jonas Valanciunas, welcome. You just made the list. Jonas Valanciunas over 38.
Hey,
FPS.
see, wasn't all that time spent mining, like, it was worth it, right? We dug that one out, and and it came true. So,
it did.
Yeah.
Good.
And
Good
then
for
speaking
us.
of that, what about not on herb?
Not on herb, no sir. What about him? What do you like?
Is she commentating the game again?
She might be.
23 fantasy points, only went up 1. Oh, they have a block steal for him finally. All right, now that's something to consider.
Big Daddy J says Gallo assists 1.5, push 2 last game, cleared 2 in last one. I think that's one of those low fringe stuff you could throw darts at the bottom. It wouldn't be in the core just because it is a little luck induced, but it's a low number that 2 passes could get you there, right? So you like, what are you saying, Herb blocks and steals?
Look at 2.5, man. Active hands.
That's his whole meaning in life, right?
Yes,
Play some
it is.
defense,
Like
sure.
if he's gonna clear his fantasy, it's most likely gonna be because he gets 2 or 3 stocks. So
Yeah. Okay. I don't mind it. You're a little bit more on the Herb Jones pulse than I am, but I don't
no,
mind it,
Doris, man, that's all Doris.
bruh. He was active out there, and she
He
was
was.
spotlighting him obviously, but big minutes for him. That's what you like to see. So I don't mind that. And Reggie Jackson, we saw Patrick Beverly was able to kind of strip him when it mattered. So maybe Reggie with a little bit more ball handling here. Herbert Jones. What do you think? Herbert Jones on Norman Powell, Reggie Jackson, probably a little bit more Reggie.
Probably both. Probably yeah.
Okay.
Switch off on both. Yeah.
All right. Sure. Well, I'll put that in the bottom of the list, but we're gonna. You know what? I'm right next to it, right, Josh?
What's that?
Josh Special.
No. Okay. All right, that's fine. I'll ride Herb out.
Bet. Shout out to Ed, naked in the shower, says he's wet.
All right.
He's got the urge.
Like Doris.
Hey man, if Drake can crush on her,
I know, right? All right, so let's figure out McCollum and Ingram, man. This is always the hard one. Dart throw.
yeah. So what? Ingram, was he in foul trouble last game? Let's see.
He was in foul trouble. I think he picked it was fourth foul. I want to say start of the third. And then he went
Yeah.
immediately. Okay, so he picked up his third foul in the second quarter, and he went immediately to the bench when he picked it up.
Yep.
And then he lost timeout in the second quarter. He lost some minutes. And then the third quarter, I believe he got it early on, and then he went straight to the bench when he got it. And so he missed out on pretty much majority of the third quarter. I don't have the game log open if you have it open.
Yeah, I have it open. He
Okay.
he missed. He played a couple minutes in the second quarter. Didn't
Yep.
close the first half. Missed the majority of the third
Yeah.
quarter. So ultimately, he finishes with 29 minutes.
Yep.
Do you think we could say he left 5 to 7 minutes out, just being in foul trouble?
Yeah, I
So-
do. Yeah. But it wasn't because I thought I was like, well, what if it's just like this hamstring and trying to hold back? But every time he picked up that foul, he went straight to the bench. So it has to be foul related, in my opinion.
Yeah, and they brought in Trey Murphy after a couple of minutes, so it was 100% trying to. Yeah,
And the books went, the books or the public, either one is adjusting to his minutes being around 30 minutes. But I don't. It's not. That's not the case. It's gonna be. It should be 30 plus in a competitive game.
I agree. I think 34, 35 should be where we put it. I put 33 just to be safe, but I think 35 is the number that if this game stays competitive down the wire and he stays out of foul trouble, he should be there, and that should clear 40 plus fantasy points. And maybe we key in on a couple of these peripherals. We know he had as we meme him as the black hole, right?
Oh my gosh.
But he actually does have a decent assist rate.
Yeah,
Since
he would
the-
have cleared it. He would have cleared that 5 easily if he got his full run last game.
Yeah. Let me get the actual number here on. I think it was like 35% assist rate since the All-Star break with him and McCollum on, but I'll double check. Ingram, McCollum, and they didn't give us any Devontae props. I was on the unders last game, right? And he only got 7 minutes. I didn't think he was going to be part of the rotation.
Yeah,
He
Jose
wasn't.
played lights out, man, on his birthday.
Yeah, Jose. Have you? I didn't make a compilation of Jose Alvarado. He does this same play where he'll hide in the corner of the court when they inbound the ball, and then he'll come up behind the facilitator and steal the ball. I've seen him do it like 5 times this season.
I've seen it too. I know exactly what you're talking
Yeah, I'm waiting for him to pull it off in the playoffs.
about. Sneaky, man. Sneaky little dude.
Sneaky. 31% assist rate for Ingram since the All-Star break,
Solid.
while on the court with McCollum and J-Val. So important context there. McCollum at 21%. So with that said, if we give 5 more minutes to Brandon Ingram versus last game, they're giving us a 5 assist prop.
I like it. I like it still. I think last game it went up to 5.5. So this time, and he got 5. So this time, even if he just gets 5 again, at least you pushed.
Yeah. All right. And I bet that goes to 5.5 really soon. Now that we put it out there, right?
Yeah, probably.
5 assists.
Okay. If it goes up to 5.5, or or 6, and you don't want to get on it. I mean, his points is still low too, 23.5.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, I mean, even his PRA, because he's a really good rebounder too, and it's the Clippers. They don't rebound, so.
Grand Theft Alvarado, yeah, he's a sneaky. All right, I put assists. I don't mind sweating assists, but I'm with you.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna put assists, and I'm gonna put secondary PRA.
That's fair. All right.
I mean, he's such a good rebounder too.
Okay.
And yeah, it's the Clippers matchup.
39 fantasy points. I got him at 39, but I think we could.
He doesn't get many stocks. That's the only thing.
Okay. So JVal Core, a little bit of that. Jackson Hayes not getting a bunch of minutes. Jose Alvarado did get some minutes. However, maybe.
Birthday.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it was, but so let's play with the hat. So what we saw in that game was Jackson Hayes benched in the fourth quarter for Alvarado.
Yeah, we saw that in that Lakers game too. That you were mining. Like Hayes didn't play the fourth, right?
I'll double check.
I believe so.
I don't believe so either. But we got time. I'll go look at it.
And we kind of you kind of predicted. We were saying like that Lakers game was kind of like a dress rehearsal for the playoffs, and ended up being true.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I got Herbert Jones playing the.
Herbert the fourth, but not Hayes. Hayes.
Yeah. Hayes played like a spot of a minute in the fourth.
Yep.
And in that game, Alvarado played a little bit. Trey Murphy played a little bit. Yeah. So is Hayes gonna turn into? One, do we want unders? Two, do we want? We chop his minutes in half and know that, or we just look at his minutes and know that most of it's in the first half. Is there any discrepancies with his first half only props versus his full? You know what I'm saying? If this is based on a full game, so they got him at 16 fantasy points full game. So theoretically, he should be at 8 first half if they don't tax it, and he's at 8 first half, and that's where he's gonna get most of his minutes. But I think it's too up and down, so I'm gonna stay away from it. The under would probably be the one. I don't know. I don't want to sweat.
It's such low numbers to sweat for an under.
All right, I'll stay away from that, but something to keep an eye on. So with that said, do we expect Alvarado to close this one again? If so, I mean, what would we need to break 15 fantasy points? He's such a stock getter to steal a possession or two. I have him at 24 fantasy points. He's coming off a 20 fantasy point game. He hasn't gotten you less than 15 in 3 games straight. We know you love that, right? So I guess what I want to do first is cure the concern that I have that maybe he benefited because of Ingram. But he's offered us 22 minutes in 4 games straight. And if 20 minutes of Alvarado is part of the plan, I mean, all season long he's been point per minute. So let's see if we can feel good about this. So let's go to one. Let's revisit the rotation in that last game.
We also think about matchup wise, like, does it make sense for him to get more run against the Clippers?
I mean, they tend to get weird. Like, they can go small with Rocco, right? And push Zubats and Hartenstein out of the way. And if it gets to, we need all of our vets out there, Rocco, Marcus Morris, Batum, Norman Powell, Reggie Jackson. I could see that being the season on the line squad. I'll
be back in 1 second while you look.
Cool. So anyway, Brandon Ingram. Alvarado did play, but I think that was more of a Trey Murphy subbing in for Ingram there, and Alvarado came in for Hayes. It looks like a lot of Alvarado minutes, not all of them, but most of them, were opposite of Jackson Hayes. So I'm starting to feel a little bit better about Alvarado getting 20 minutes as a base projection here. And just out of curiosity, because 15 is kind of low, especially for a stock getter. Let's see, Jose Alvarado, FTP by game log with the... Let's go 20 minutes. Let's go last 50 games. How often are we not clearing 15 fantasy points with this requirement of 20 minutes? 1, 2, twice in the last X amount of games here. Obviously, there's free flowing variance. Ingram plays, McCollum doesn't play, blah 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 blah. But it seems pretty steady that if he's going to get you a shot at 20 minutes, he's going to get you a shot at this over. So I like the thought of nominating his fantasy point prop here at 15. My projections like it. We don't really have pushback here. Yeah, let's do that. All right, I'm gonna put him in the mix.
I had the air conditioner off, man. It's so loud.
Oh, I didn't hear it at all.
Oh,
like at all. Oh, if it bothers you, it's like I have the same thing where sometimes I feel like it's like I hear it.
Yeah,
so
and I can't hear it on my end from you either.
Oh, it's not on to record stuff in the middle of the night and post it, and I swear, I had like a little window unit. It was a different place, and it would just make me. I hate it. So I like his 15 fantasy points. I'm going with it. All right. Anything else on the Pelicans side? So for wrapping up notes, I got JVL over 38 fantasy points. Lock of the freaking century, right? Yeah. If you want a free, what is it, $60? You put $20 on JVL over 38 and Embiid over half a point. Although I'm not sure on the Embiid one. Totally.
Yeah, that one's a little risky.
Then I've got Ingram 5 assists /PRA. And then space. Alvarado, 15 fantasy points. Herbert Jones, 2.5 blocks and steals.
Space. What is that? Push him out to the
This is the fringes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, they really rely on variance more so than the other guys. Obviously, that's why they're secondary guys. But yeah. So what do you want to do with McCollum?
So I was going to ask you, do we just avoid it? Michael Tyler says, last game Alvarado was at home in a birthday game with friends and family in the crowd. This ain't that. Guys, I appreciate the narratives as much as the next one. I do. Trust me, I do. Narrative Friday. That was not the game where you let the kid play in front. That was a playing, like you win that game. There's no reason to think that he got extra or less minutes based on anything but his gameplay. I don't, and Mike, I don't mean that in a rude way. That narrative stuff is fun for the regular season. This ain't that. We are. I don't know. I would assume that not much has changed.
Maybe he was saying for like how well he was playing, like his individual motivation to play.
Sure, yeah, he's a scrapper though. I love watching him play.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, McCollum. Right now, no, I don't have a strong read here, chat. If you guys have something, let me know. Maybe his 2.5 threes correlates with Ingram's assists or something like that.
Sure.
But I'm right on the nose on the fantasy score and everything else in between.
Yeah, I mean he pulled a Kyrie Irving in terms of shooting percentage. Man, he was just like not missing that last game. Obviously, that can't sustain for a whole entire playoff. So. I guess his real points is still going to be live though, but yeah, I think he also benefited a lot with BI going to the bench with foul trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta take it with a grain of salt that last game in terms of his scoring productivity.
All right, well then let's shift our focus here to the Clippers. Mañana later. What the freak? Mañana means tomorrow. Why did I say mañana? I was thinking Embiid. And then I was thinking about the stream schedule for tomorrow, and I don't know what it is yet. So, yeah. Hey, Clippers, they're going to be without Paul George. Now, the cool thing about this is that we have a whole season of sample size of the Clippers without Paul George, but we have half of that season without Norman Powell, and then the second half of that was like without Norman Powell. So they were never really like fully healthy, even when you just removed Paul George from the mix. So we do get to play a little bit of game theory and put the pieces together for Ty Lue. They were coming into this slate as one of the harder rotations to predict, though we did get a glimpse at what maybe the plan would be from that last outing. However, everything is different. Everything is different now that there is no Paul George. Well, in that first game, we saw 41 minutes from Reggie Jackson. So imagine that's not going to change. So we saw 30 minutes of Marcus Morris, 41 minutes of Paul George, 27 minutes of Nick Batum, 18 minutes on Rocco, 26 minutes on Norman Powell. I think Norman Powell, and I know he's been hurt, I think Norman Powell has to be the guy,
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
you?
I agree, and that 2.5 threes is I'm liking it a lot, man. Because I mean that's where he gets most of his points, and without Paul George to eat up the usage, I like it.
So we could potentially go from 26 minutes to 38, 40, assuming he could start. And I know we're worried about his lungs and all that, but I think playoffs, right? It's win or don't. Like, and I think I think him and Reggie should be the focal point of this offense. And I think if Norman Powell clocked in for 40 minutes for a 40-minute shift tonight, it wouldn't surprise me. So I'm with you on the 2.5 threes as well. Let's see what the initial prop, and I think my minute projection on him might be a little light as well. Norman Powell,
No.
have him for over 2.25, 24.5 PRA as well. So looking at what the board is offering us on him, PRA is at 28.5. You like the 2.5 threes like a lot.
I do, because I mean that's the majority of his shot volume is going to come from.
Okay, so we'll put 2.5 threes on Norman Powell, and then we look at his
And
last couple of games for shot volume when he's out there: 9, 11, 10, 14, 5, 6. So yeah, half of his shots are coming from behind the arc, and we might be able to +5 to +8 on the field goal attempts here without PG. So okay, I'm with that.
what's and then I mean and then if you're not a fan of the three, then I would say is 21.5 points. What's the status of Kennard?
Great question. Let's see, Luke Kennard.
That would also play a big factor because if they're like falling behind for any reason and they need 3-point shots going up, it's going to be Powell and Reggie, and then Morris, Batum after that.
So I got an official Q tag on old Lukey with sore right hamstring. Says he did not travel with the team to no. It's a home game. Did not travel with the team to Tuesday's loss to the T-Wolves. He took the knee to the hamstring during Sunday's regular season finale. Coach Ty Lue said during his press conference on Thursday that he was not sure if Kennard would be available for Friday's game. If not, expect the minutes. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so he's questionable at best. But if he does play, it does create a little bit of a ripple effect versus who would get those points. I have him baked in right now for about 10 minutes anyway, so it's not going to move much for me. But something to keep an eye on if we're taking notes. And let's talk about Reggie Jackson. So let's do a NBA Wowie. Let's bring up the Clippers. And then also, let's go, hey, shout out to ODDSJAM. Let's go look at the point props on Norman Powell to see if we can get a lean now. Since this was midday breaking news type stuff, we'll see if there's been movement or if we're expecting more movement to come. So what I'm doing is going to bring up ODDSJAM.com. If you're not on ODDSJAM, there's a link in the description below. You can get signed up. What I'm using right here, if you see, I'm not even logged in. This is completely free to reference, but I would definitely encourage you guys to log in, take advantage of the bet tracker, all that good stuff to kind of see your strengths and your weaknesses. So 21.5, it looks like it was at 20.5, and there's been some action on the over, so it's moving to 21.5 before long. So 21.5 is where PrizePicks has it, so it's actually a little bit more aggressive than what's out there, but for good reason. We expect him to pick up a lot of the scoring. Anyway, go back to that NBA Wowie query here. And since the All-Star break, I'm going to put Reggie Jackson on the court. I'm going to take Paul George off the court just as is and see what we're working with. And then we'll start adding and subtracting. Addition by subtraction. Reggie has a 31% assist rate without Paul George on the court with a 30% usage rate. So I don't know how much overlap he got with Norman Powell without Paul George. I can't imagine it's much, but we will know. Only 11 minutes. So, I'm thinking all signs are pointing to 40 minutes Reggie Jackson being the facilitator, and he has an assist prop at 6.5. Is that doing anything for you?
It is, but we've seen Reggie go into
Take over.
black hole mode too, and he will just chuck it.
Black hole mode. How about this? I got him for 44 fantasy points. They got him for far less at 35.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be the way to go. Because
Okay.
he's gonna just try to do everything tonight. He's gonna have to.
All right, Reggie Jackson.
But he's gonna have that you know what on him.
Not a herb. I feel like I'm drinking liquid herb.
Yeah. It's all a sign, man. It's all leading to herb.
It looks so gross. It looks so gross. Does it make my teeth green? That would be weird. Maybe I can make my teeth disappear into... I got Kobe behind me. Yeah, I don't know. Let's get caught up on chat. Shout out to the live chat. 130 you guys hanging out, but 40 likes. We can do better. If you're trying to cash tonight, I'm just saying it's been scientifically proven that smacking that thumbs up it exponentially increases your odds to do well tonight. So if you want to do well tonight and you want to increase your probability of success, you should probably hit that thumbs up. You probably shouldn't argue with science or tempt fate by not doing it. And then if you're not subscribed to the channel, you should probably subscribe to the channel because, Alvarado's
Are we dropping the prop detector?
Ooh, no, that's 100 like requirement. All right.
Oh.
We'll drop it for the YouTube channel members, no matter what. In the free Discord, we'll do that no matter what. Does that sound good? But if the public that are not YouTube channel members, and this is what I mean by the people that have the green or the G's next to their name. If you guys can get this video to 100 likes, then we'll drop it for free right here in this PrizePicks and prop channel. And this will basically be our favorite props at lock. And you guys can tell that. But no matter what, those of you that have gone above and beyond to support the channel, YouTube member PrizePicks channel here, we'll probably post it in here just like this. So, boom, little incentive. There you go. Look at Josh learning how to, YouTube. Teach me how to YouTube. 100 likes. Let's do it. All right, so I'm thinking Reggie Jackson fantasy points now that we're looking at 44 overall fantasy points. And then if we're just throwing blankets over the unknown in terms of who does what specifically, like scoring and shooting threes, Norman Powell, that we already have some stake in him for shooting threes and scoring at 21.5 points, blah, blah, blah. And I know he can be kind of a scoring only guy. 34 fantasy points on him. I haven't projected for below that. All right, so I guess I don't want to get over that unless we get Kennard out.
Wait, your projections of less than him?
Yes, but I also don't. I'm not completely sure what to put on the minutes.
Yeah.
Like I think 40 minutes of Paul George, and he played 20. Like I think someone has to take minutes, and I think he's an elite scorer or can be their best scorer. So I think he could play 40 minutes, but I'd also want to be responsible. So right now. It's slightly below.
Too, that can come in, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mere coffee, like the drink.
No.
All right, and then how about some of these veterans that are just chilling? Marcus Morris, Nick Batum. These are guys that have plenty of playoff games under their belt. Nick Batum's at 15.5 PRA. He has not cleared that in a couple of games. And then Marcus Morris is at 26 fantasy points, 4.5 rebounds. They didn't give us that 3-point prop here, but 26 fantasy points without Paul George on the season. Marcus Morris, let me put him on the court with Reggie. Morris was at... He was at 0.8 fantasy points per minute with a 22.5% usage rate. Fantasy-wise, I got him for about 31.5 fantasy points. They have a 26 fantasy point prop on him. Maybe a shot or two at the over in some of the tertiary fringe category plays.
Yeah, he's just not active besides just shooting. Not even going to get rebounds or look to get steals. So, yeah. I mean, but Batum will get you some corner threes, that's for sure. 8.5 points, then that's pretty low.
That is low.
These guys are all risky, man. They're all risky. In the rotation, like you said, we just don't know.
We do not. Okay, so well, that's our Clippers.
Wait, what about Zubac?
So you would think theoretically, if 37 minutes of Jonas Valanciunas happened, Zubats, Hartenstein, you would think, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
One of these guys should get some run. So if that is the case, Zubats seems like he has an ability to clear 27 fantasy points. I gave him 29 minutes. I got 37 fantasy points. So that's like a 10-point gap. But it's so untrustworthy. But maybe with Paul George out, I mean, Paul George is a lot of shots, a lot of usage. Maybe Paul George out, Zubac can pick up some slack.
What when they played in the past? What did they have? What did he get a minute spike at all?
I mean, I look it up, but I just feel like this Clippers is not. They haven't been the same team twice. I'll say this on the season with Reggie, Marcus Morris, Zubats on, Paul George off, and this is actually since the All-Star break. Zubats has a 1.2 fantasy point per minute that leads the team by far, with a 29% defensive rebound rate and a 23% usage rate and a ridiculous 14.5% offensive rebound rate. That seems so really unsustainable. But the numbers say that he should thrive in the minutes that he gets. And then if you're just interested to see in the history, let's go Ivica Zubac, FTP by game log versus, let's go Pelicans last 3 games. So last game, we got 25, 20, 18 minutes. And we'll look at the 25 because that has been since the All-Star break. Matter of fact, that was this month. So, what was the starting lineup on either side? McCollum, Ingram, Herbert Jones, J-Val, Jackson Hayes. So that's their literal unit today. And then on the Clipper side is everybody but no Paul George. So in that game, Zubac's got 25 minutes. J-Val got 22 minutes. And it looks like there was a 19-point blowout in the end. So let's go. What's the date on this? What did we say? April 3rd. Let's go look at the rotation for the Pelicans on April 3rd.
Yeah. I think J-Val was dealing with his sore ankle that game.
He didn't play at all in the fourth quarter.
So. And he didn't play the next game either. I think I remember that game. He had a sore ankle.
Okay, so then Zubac didn't play Zubac didn't play in the fourth quarter either. However, they did go to their mop up duty squad. Luke Kennard, Hartenstein, Terrence Mann, Reggie Jackson kind of stayed out there. So I guess you could paint a picture here that Zubac was getting minutes as long as J-Val was getting minutes. You know, there's a little bit of court time without him, but a lot of overlap. So if we're expecting 37 minutes for J-Val, not that we need 37 minutes of Zubac, but heck, 28 minutes might be enough to get us over the hump of 27 fantasy points. So maybe you feel like we mined this one into a yes, 27 fantasy points on Zubac. The fantasy projection that in my algorithm likes him a lot for almost a 10-point margin.
Yeah, I think so.
All
Although,
right.
I mean, I think J-Val's just going to completely bully him and dominate him, but defensively on Zubac's defensive side, but he can still get it done offensively.
All right.
And then and then they'll drop later today. They will drop Rocco and Hartenstein props. So those are something else to look out for and consider. I think Rocco. I really like Rocco as a basketball player.
But not as a human. It's the inverse of Kevin Herter.
No, I like the dude. I like him. I don't like Kevin. I don't like Kevin Herter.
Yeah, okay.
Rocco, he's a baller, man. I think look out for. I would love if they give a 3-point prop, or a steal prop for him, but they probably won't because that's his 2 bread and butter, tool set. I would look out for fantasy for him. If not, they've been dropping some pretty low numbers for him, prop-wise for his points and rebounds. I think rebounds could be in play. I could look out for that. I think last time it dropped, last game was about 4.5. And I think he got close to that, or whatnot. But now with Paul George being out, you don't know. I mean, Rocco could get even more run too.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is our Clippers breakdown. So that is both games for tonight. So if we can,
Chad has some debate going on. If we want to address that.
yeah. What's the debate? Let's hear the debate. Let me get caught up on chat. Jake Cole says Zubac without Ibaka eating his minutes is a problem. You're saying I'm confused. What's the debate? Could be an extra 4 minutes for him for Zubac without Serge Ibaka. Okay, all right. I see what you're saying. Gallo matchup against Mobley's not good. Mobley's been getting torched. All right.
Let's correct this. Mobley is not an good on ball defender, and he's more of a free safety rover, which Draymond created that position, by the way, in the paint. And actually his rim protector, primary rim protector is not good. Go back and look at the advanced stats.
Yeah, I think a lot of this is coming from early in the season where the Cavs just generally look like a good team defense, and Mobley being a rookie was getting a lot of credit where maybe he was getting too much credit, but they had 3 7-footers out there marking Allen in the paint. He's definitely a good rim protector, and then they had Ricky Rubio in the mix. You look at that stretch where Mobley was the primary center without Allen, and those games without. Yes. I mean, heck, I'll just show you. We could stat muse it, right?
And he's a terrible defensive rebounder. One of the worst centers in the league at defensive rebounding.
Evan Mobley defensive rating last 50 games, 110.7. That's not what you want. Like, you want to compare that to, like, I don't know, Rudy Gobert? 105. So, yeah, he's definitely given up a much. He's not as good as the perception from early in the season credits him. But yeah, at first there was a lot of people thinking Mobley was like a defensive player of the year candidate, and that died really, really quick.
Yeah,
Allen is back. Yeah, Allen is back, but that's what would bolster that front court defense. Yep. So tomorrow's FanDuel positions, every center is also available at power forward. Maybe they're just trying to loosen up the slates to make it a little bit more easy to play, a little bit more convenient. Where are we at? We're at 3:12. I mean, I've got some time, so okay. I don't know if I don't have anything in the spreadsheet. But Chad, if you guys have already looked at tomorrow, so I guess let's talk about. So what's your schedule like tomorrow? And Chad, you guys chime in too. So.
So tomorrow I will be busy till 1 p.m. So that's my time. So 4 p.m. Eastern, and then I am free to do a stream this evening though while I'm in the lab.
Like after the Clippers game,
or before, or during it. I mean, I'm just gonna be running experiments, so I can just in between them just come up and do the stream with you.
You know how insane that sounds?
But yeah, I'm down for either one. Whatever works for you. Or, I mean, if you want to do it tomorrow. So what time do but the first game's tomorrow. They're spread out, aren't they?
Yeah, so this is the inconvenient part of tomorrow's slate. Yeah. There's a noon game my time, so it's 1 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 Eastern, 6 Eastern, 7:30 Eastern, or 8:30 Eastern. So 1 Eastern.
Is the first game?
Is the Jazz and Mavericks.
Yeah.
Without Luka. It's just gonna be really hard to serve content. I'm gonna say this: Yankees play tonight. I'm gonna be, you know what I'm saying? 6 to 8.
What time?
6:05 my time, so 7:05 Eastern. So it's like 2.5, 3 hours.
So we do it after.
Theoretically.
I mean, or people won't be around or awake. What is that, like 10 p.m. Eastern? It's a Friday, though, right?
I mean, what are we doing on a Friday? I prefer to do stuff like day of, but I don't know. I think this Jazz Mavericks game is just going to get like lost in the sauce no matter what. So, I don't know. Maybe we'll further discuss this off the air. Basically, I was looking for if you're open or not tomorrow early because I was initially scheduled to have an obligation in the morning. Well, we kind of rescheduled that, so I have to be somewhere tomorrow afternoon. Not be somewhere, but I have another stream tomorrow afternoon on Osmo MLB. So that takes me away from the afternoon for a little bit. So it's awkward to serve content for this slate.
Yeah, because the T-Wolves game's at 12:30, so we would need to start at like or 3. Sorry, I'm talking different time zones. 3:30 Eastern. So we would want to start the latest at like 2 o'clock, right? 2:30.
Nah, I could probably make that happen. One, so 2 p.m. Eastern, 2:30 p.m. Eastern.
That would give us an hour to talk about the 3 games.
Yeah. Chat, what are you guys thinking? We're just going to have to forego Jazz and Mavericks. Let's be honest. Were we really going to play that game much anyway? No Luka.
I mean, Gobert.
Get some Gobert, some Dinwiddie.
Yeah. I don't. I mean, I could swing it, because I want to, because we're nearing the end. But the evening stream would be more convenient, but I just don't know how many viewers we would get. But I mean, people can go back and watch it tomorrow during the morning too.
Yeah. All right, let's talk a little bit more off air about that, and then I gotta get permission from the old lady, the old ball and chain. After, but yeah. Right.
Yeah, see that's the thing. It's harder for me to get permission on Saturdays.
I mean, for me it's Sunday, right? Fellas in the chat, we can relate, right? We're at 66 likes, 100 likes gets the free prop detector in the Discord right now. It's not happening, so maybe a miracle wave can get it going. So let's compare notes here.
Yeah.
I'll show you mine if you show me yours. I got Jonas Valanciunas over 38 fantasy points.
Man.
That's the J-Val train pulling out. Choo choo. I got Brandon Ingram 5 assists. Yes, /PRA.
Yeah, let's go, man. These are locks right here, fellas.
Jose Alvarado over 15 fantasy points. Herb Jones over 2.5 block steals. Norman Powell over 2.5 threes. Reggie Jackson fantasy points. Ivica Zubac fantasy points. Anything? Oh, Zubac's a lock. Anything in your notes that I didn't just mention? Also, Darius Garland 42 fantasy points. Rondo 13.5 PRA. Also, Salvador Perez over 6.5 fantasy points. Aaron Judge over 1.5 bases, 8.5 fantasy points. That's from my baseball stream earlier. So little nugget.
Throwing in some mixture plays there, and then so I think that's most of what I've written down. But for cards to look out for that will drop later, we could do some prediction on. But I would say we would want some Kevin Love.
Mm-hmm.
Probably his rebounds if it's less than 8, and then his points if it's less than what would you say, 13?
Yeah.
And then fantasy point if it's around 22 again. I doubt it will be. Probably go up to 24? Imagine.
I have him at 26. Yeah, maybe 23.5. So far they're not moving like J-Val didn't budge, right? And they stayed the same. Capella didn't move. They didn't move on a bunch of guys that we were on last game. I don't know matchups are different, but so what I'm saying is
we're dropping Afro's props.
Afro man because I got high.
So their first prop is 11.5 points. Play.
That's the only one I got.
Give it a couple.
Yeah.
I mean, on his fantasy, if anything, right?
Yeah. I don't know if I just lost full connection or not.
You went robot for a second.
Did I? YouTube just went into your offline, but Streamlabs seems to indicate that I'm still alive. So
are we here, chat still?
Smack the thumbs up if we're live. One's in chat.
Yeah, let us know. Please hit it. No, they should be dropping these any second. Because this is what happened with Rondo too.
Okay.
What would be a fantasy line for him? What do you have him projected for?
For who?
For Jared Allen.
So I mean, it comes down to minutes. I put 24 minutes. He could play 35 minutes. I don't know, which gave me 29 fantasy. So I'd probably be looking for. I mean, I don't think they'd put 24, 25. I really don't know what to expect from his minutes. We need to keep our ears open for some like Bickerstaff quotes or something.
Oh, he's hush hush on it, man. But yeah, I mean, the only thing I did listen to some post game conference stuff from that last game against the Nets, and he said it's like I said, it's just pain tolerance. So if it sounds like if he can just handle the pain, he could he can get a full run. It's his hand, it's not anything deal with his legs or movement. So
Okay, well then maybe we can, because I could see like if he's fully healthy, I could see him get more minutes than the rookie and get Kevin Love in the mix.
Yeah.
So there's a couple scenarios that
I agree. Or just maybe just let Markkanen lose out on some minutes. He's just not been that dude, especially defensively.
Okay. All right. Well, that is our.
Rocco, I would say look out for his fantasy. I would be interested in that with Paul George being out. He adds another 3-point shooter in the mix for the Clippers. Could gain some minutes that way. Am I missing any? Are we missing any other bench key guys? Because they will drop these bench guys later in the day.
If Bogdan got ruled out, maybe DeLon Wright opened something.
Yeah. He was very efficient. I know it's the Hornets, but he was really good. He flashes that upside at times, for sure.
Yeah, that's what we got. All right, let's see what we got for tomorrow. What's on tap, and we'll try and serve some content, something, whether it be pre-produced or live or middle of the night stuff. We'll try to do something. Make sure if you guys get this video to 100 likes that you're in the free Discord, linked in the description below. We'll post it. Looks like we're not going to hit the 100 like goal. It's fine. If you're a YouTube channel member, check out the member channel. And if you just want access to all the spreadsheets, not just for NBA, for baseball, I've been pumping out baseball content as much as I can as well. I did a really, sometimes you do a good stream, and you turn into Robert De Niro, and then you turn into after the stream, you're like, man, I broke my foot off in that stream. I did a really good research stream earlier for baseball, so if you guys want to dip your toes into that, check that out. I also included 2 of the PrizePicks plays I'm liking for baseball. So all that's behind the paywall at rundfs.com. VIP memberships, then click VIP portal, get in there. Hey, ODDSJAM, thank you. Shout out to ODDSJAM sponsoring the show. Sure. We are out of here. Twitter.com.
And look out for the early look.
We are doing that. Okay. All right. I didn't want to put you on the spot. That's good. First look in the morning.
We'll do it for Saturday, and then we have the one right now it's live and still good to check out because it goes over plays for Saturday that we think will get inflated by Saturday by lock. So,
all right. Well, chat, appreciate you making part of my day, be part of your day. I hope you kill it tonight. I love you guys. Tell somebody you love them because I love you. Good luck. God bless. And go win some money. But save some for me.
Me too.
No, not you. You take all the money. It's your 5K cards. Ridiculous.
I give it back though.
Dude, I can't tell.
All right, so when do you want to figure out this schedule?
I have to watch the Yankees. Like that there's no.
Yeah.
It is. That's my playoff. Like I watch every game.
Oh, I totally feel you, man. And that's so that'll be over what, 10 Eastern?
Hopefully, I'm expecting them to smack the Orioles, so game should be a laugher, but we'll see.
So, yeah, no, what time is the Pelicans game?
I also have to get permission from my girlfriend because